Hello, today we're going to talk about effective leadership. Leadership is not about a title or a designation. It's about impact, influence, and inspiration. Impact involves getting results. Influence is about spreading the passion you have for your work, and you have to inspire teammates and peers alike. Leadership is a practice, not so much with words, rather it's a practice in actions. The leader that I chose to follow is my Chief Master Sergeant John Stagel. This man embodies what it truly is to be a leader. I got to know him pretty well when we were paired together during a stage, which is similar to a deployment, except we don't have to stay downrange the entire time. The Chief and I had plenty of time to get to know one another during those long flights back and forth from Spain to Afghanistan. And something that I quickly learned about him is he's what we like to call in aviation a bro or a crew dog. He was always down to hang out with the crew and always cared about his people. I learned that he has incredible passion for serving those who he was tasked to lead. Chief Stagel cared more about how the crew was doing rather than the things he had going on in his own life. And it didn't matter whether you were an officer or enlisted, he treated everyone like human beings. Strengths as a leader. The Chief had many strengths that designated him as a leader, but I'm only going to discuss 5 of them that I thought were very pertinent to his leadership style. The first of which being integrity. The supreme quality of leadership is unquestionably integrity. Without it, no real success is possible. Honesty and integrity are 2 important ingredients which make up a good leader. How can you expect your followers to be honest when you lack these qualities yourself? Leaders succeed when they stick to their values and core beliefs, and without ethics such as integrity, this will not be possible. The next leadership skill that he possessed was his ability to inspire others. Probably the most difficult job for a leader is to persuade others to follow. It can only be possible if you inspire your followers by setting an example and doing right by those who you are in charge of. This is something that John exemplified. The thing about him is that he's been where we are. He's gone through the troubles that we've gone through, and those of us that know him understand what he's been through. It makes it easy to follow a man like this. John Quincy Adams once said, "If your actions inspire others to dream more, learn more, do more, and become more, you are a leader." If you are successful in inspiring your subordinates, you can easily overcome any current or future challenge easily. The third skill is his commitment and passion to his job. If you expect your people to be fully committed to their work, they have to see the same thing out of you. This is what makes it easy to really care about what I do, because my leaders possess passion and commitment towards the same. The Chief was very committed and passionate about his trade, and although he'd be the first one to let loose, buy everyone a round of beers, and have fun, the job and his people always came first. The fourth skill that the Chief possessed was accountability. A good leader takes little more than his share of the blame and a little less than his share of the credit. Chief Stagel gave us so much in mentorship and required nothing in return, and always gives the credit to everyone but himself. This is a man who does not look to receive even his own credit as much as we try to give it to him. I believe that a good leader should make sure that every one of their subordinates are accountable for what they are doing. If they do well, give them a pat on the back. But if they struggle, make them realize their mistake and work together to improve it. Holding them accountable for their actions will create a sense of responsibility among subordinates and install in them the ownership that is required to succeed in the workplace. And finally, empathy. Empathy not only allows a great leader to understand their people better, but it is also known for enhancing helping behaviors. Because of this, empathy enables leaders to address issues faster and with more precision, and it makes them more flexible when dealing with different issues. I have never met anyone who cared about their people more than this man. I had always learned that I should take care of my people that I'm in charge of leading, but this man will go way out of his way to help anybody with some sort of an issue in any time of need. It can be the smallest of issues all the way to something large. Chief Stagel will be there helping in any way he can. He has the ability to relate to his workers and be able to put himself in their shoes. Without this empathetic trait, it's very hard to rally your troops around your vision. While we often are focused on our mission, and rightfully so, There are times we need to remember that our teams are people and often have things going on outside of work. By having empathy and understanding what else it is happening in their lives, we can better lead them through the good and bad times. What leadership style does this leader use? Although Chief Master Sergeant John Stegall uses a number of leadership styles, the one he's commonly known for is his charismatic leadership style. Charismatic leaders have an emotional impact on people and inspire them to do more than they would normally do, despite obstacles and personal sacrifices. Their passion for the mission inspires people to follow them and motivates people to transcend their own interests for the sake of achieving the goal, as described by Daft. It's not just that John Stegall motivates followers using eloquent communication and charm, but he'll never ask someone to do something he wouldn't first be willing to do himself. In fact, sometimes he'll start doing tasks that are normally otherwise would be designated for someone with much lower rank. He is the true definition of a truly inspiring, people-first oriented leader, one who I would gladly bend over backwards for, because I know he would do the same for me. So what 3 lessons about the leadership can be learned from this particular leader? One of the most important things I've learned from the chief is to never stop learning. The most successful people in the world are obsessed with learning. Bill Gates reads 1 book a week. Steve Jobs is obsessed with learning and reading. Elon Musk is famously known for reading 10 hours a day. And don't even get me started on Oprah. The point is, all these successful people have one very important thing in common, and that's their need for growth. They never quit learning, and it's become an obsession for them. This is something that John Stegall stresses all the time, and he's really opened my eyes to the unlimited possibilities. The second thing that was learned is to be decisive and always follow through. A reality for any leader is that many people need decisions from you. The chief is no exception here. One very important lesson that I've learned from him about being a leader is decisions must be made. And regardless of what they are, as a leader you better be prepared to follow through with whatever you decide. And finally, he taught me to embrace change. It's human nature to naturally resist things that are different. And it may be organizational changes, career changes, maybe implementing new rules, but change happens. And you never want to be on the wrong side of change. Change also equals growth, so it goes hand in hand with never stop learning. Leadership means having the self-confidence to believe you can make a difference, the passion to believe it matters, and the courage to risk it all. Because you believe it matters. Leaders should not be defined simply by their popularity, but by their willingness to take risks, their ability to share credit, the strength to admit errors, and the willingness to pick themselves up and keep on leading. Ultimately, leadership is not about glorious crowning acts. It's about keeping your team focused on a goal and motivated to do their best to achieve it, especially when the stakes are high and the consequences really matter. It is about laying the groundwork for others' success and then standing back and letting them shine. Thank you.